No matter what I say, it's like, the marriage is ending.
It's an emotional time in my life for sure. I've been having a lot of cries lately.
Justin Bieber might be placed in a conservatorship.
We're all struggling to some degree. We all have our individual pains and fears.
I have a life and I have a career. So trying to balance making my wants and needs while meshing my life with another human. Like, we're busy people and we want to be in a marriage, so we're making it work.
But apparently Justin Bieber has been looking a little rough lately and behaving in erratic ways.
Sometimes good days, sometimes bad days.
He's my best friend. I love coming home to him, but like, yeah, it takes work.
This girl forgives me left and right. I'm a damn nightmare.
It started with a simple night out, but by the time the cameras captured it, it felt like a public unraveling. Hailey Baldwin was spotted leaving a popular LA restaurant, alone, calm, composed, and silent. Just 30 minutes later, Justin Bieber arrived at the same spot, surrounded by a group of friends, eyes hidden behind oversized sunglasses. But it wasn't the usual celebrity appearance. He looked off, hollow. He stayed for barely 2 hours, then left alone, same as his wife. No photos together, no interaction, no smiles. Just two people moving through the same space like strangers. To the outside world, it seemed odd. But to those who've been watching closely, this was the latest sign that something behind the scenes is seriously broken. And it wasn't an isolated event. In recent weeks, Justin has been spotted in public multiple times, each appearance drawing more concern. His expression is vacant, his body language closed off. He looks like a man walking through fog, barely holding it together. And the whispers started up again. Is he okay? Why does he look so sad? Where's Hailey? It's not the first time fans have asked these questions. But this time, something feels different. This time, people aren't just blaming bad lighting or paparazzi angles. They're looking deeper. And what they're seeing paints a picture of a couple quietly falling apart, one awkward dinner at a time. But that was just the beginning. What came next would expose just how isolated Justin had become and how desperate Hailey's inner circle was getting. For years, Justin Bieber has carried the weight of being one of the most famous people on earth. But now, it seems that weight is crushing him. According to sources close to the singer, Justin has become increasingly withdrawn from the world around him. Borderline reclusive, in fact. What was once a superstar who dominated stages and sold out arenas has now become a man who avoids the spotlight at all costs. It's not just a preference for privacy, it's fear. Insiders say Justin's developed a deep, paralyzing anxiety about public spaces. Crowds make him uneasy. Flashing cameras trigger panic. He's skipped public events, declined appearances, and hasn't toured in years. And it's not because he doesn't want to, it's because he can't. He's said to be overwhelmed by the idea of being watched, judged, or exposed again. End quote. He's been struggling, one source told the Daily Mail. There's a fear in him now, especially in crowded spaces. It's why he stopped touring. He just can't deal with it anymore. The few times Justin has stepped out, it's usually been on his own terms, in controlled environments, or quickly in and out of places, before anyone can stop him. But even then, the signs are there. Heavy bags under his eyes, slouched posture, and a gaze that never really meets the camera. This isn't the Justin fans remember from the Purpose era. This is someone else. Someone fragile, uncertain, and clearly hurting. And the isolation is only making things worse. By retreating from the world, Justin has cut himself off not just from fans, but from friends, support, and increasingly, even his wife. At home, he's said to spend long stretches in silence. Not angry, not distant, just somewhere else. Hailey reportedly tries to be patient, giving him space, checking in, keeping things together. But when your partner shuts the world out, you're left on the outside too. And that's exactly where Hailey has been, outside of Justin's pain, unable to reach him, unsure if he even wants to be reached. But Hailey's not the only one who's noticed. Behind closed doors, her friends have been watching closely, and some of them have had enough. For years, Hailey Baldwin has stood by Justin's side, through breakdowns, headlines, health scares, and rumors. But now, even those closest to her are questioning how much more she can take. Multiple sources have revealed that Hailey's inner circle is growing increasingly worried. Not just about Justin's emotional state, but about the toll it's taking on her. What they once saw as a supportive marriage now looks more like a one-sided struggle, and it's Hailey doing most of the lifting. She loves him madly, one insider told dailymail.com, but he's a loose cannon. The same source claims that friends have privately encouraged Hailey to leave, not out of spite or frustration, but out of genuine concern for her well-being. They've watched her hold everything together for years, but now, with a baby in the picture and Justin slipping further into his own mind, it's starting to seem impossible. According to insiders, the couple's problems didn't start with the baby. They've been there since day one. The mood swings, the emotional distance, the sudden shifts from affection to withdrawal. Hailey's put up with a lot, and while she's remained loyal through it all, there's growing fear that loyalty is starting to look more like quiet suffering. Her friends see the cracks, missed outings, canceled trips, awkward silence at public appearances. They see how tired she looks, how rarely she smiles. They stop pretending everything's fine. And behind the scenes, some are saying what they never would have dared before. Maybe it's time to go. But walking away from Justin Bieber isn't as simple as packing a bag. There's history here, devotion, a child, and deep down, Hailey still believes the man she married is in there somewhere. That this version, silent, struggling, unstable, is temporary. She believed that becoming a father would pull him back to reality. She believed he would change. When Hailey and Justin welcomed their son, Jack Blues Bieber, in August 2024, the world assumed it was a fresh start, a clean slate, a reason to grow up, settle down, and finally find peace as a family. But behind the smiles and filtered Instagram posts, reality was unraveling. For Hailey, Jack was everything, a miracle, a reason to keep believing in the life she'd built with Justin. Friends said she hoped fatherhood would ground him, give him the purpose and clarity he desperately needed. And at first, it looked like it might. Justin was there when Jack was born. He held him, cried, stayed by Hailey's side. For a brief moment, it seemed like the old Justin, the loving, goofy, fully present one, was back. But it didn't last. Insiders say the shift was almost immediate. Within weeks, Justin retreated again, back into the silence, the fog, the detachment, late-night pacing, missed feedings, hours spent alone, even with a newborn in the house. He wasn't absent physically, but emotionally, it was like he wasn't even there. And for Hailey, that was devastating. She really believed this would be the thing that changed him, a source said. But it didn't stick. Nothing has. Those closest to her say she's tried everything. Gentle support, tough love, therapy, prayer. But nothing seems to reach him. The pressure of raising a child with someone who feels emotionally unavailable is a burden even the strongest person can't carry alone. And it's starting to show. Hailey's posts became less frequent, her public appearances more scripted, more strained. The glow she once had as a young wife seemed dimmed by something heavier, and people began to wonder if the fairy tale image of Mr. and Mrs. Bieber was just that, an image. Even moments that should have brought them closer, first steps, first words, quiet mornings as a family, felt like missed chances. Like Justin wasn't really there for any of it. Not fully. And then came the moment that made fans question everything, the Instagram scandal. One tiny action that screamed way louder than words ever could. Because what Justin did next wasn't just careless. It was the kind of thing that cracks trust in a way no apology can fix. It was just a click, a simple unfollow. But in the age of social media, a move like that doesn't go unnoticed, especially when you're Justin Bieber and the person you unfollow is your own wife. Within minutes, screenshots started circulating. Justin unfollowed Hailey, fans whispered. Then they shouted. Theories exploded across Twitter, TikTok, Reddit. Had they split? Was this his quiet way of confirming a breakup? Or was something darker happening behind the scenes? The timing couldn't have been worse. Tensions were already high, with fans speculating about their strained marriage, Justin's mental health, and Hailey's visible absence from recent events. The unfollow wasn't just suspicious, it felt symbolic, like something had officially broken between them. Then, just as quickly as it started, Justin jumped in to put out the fire. He posted an Instagram story, white background, black text, blunt explanation. "Someone went on my account and unfollowed my wife," he wrote. Shit is getting sus out here. It was meant to settle things, but instead, it sparked even more chaos. Why would someone hack into Justin Bieber's account just to unfollow Hailey? Why not delete photos, post something scandalous, or cause real damage? Why only that? Fans weren't buying it. Some called it a cover-up. Others wondered if it was a moment of impulsive emotion Justin regretted, and tried to reverse before the backlash spiraled. And then, almost as mysteriously as it appeared, the post vanished. Deleted. No further explanation. That silence only added fuel to the fire. For a couple constantly under scrutiny, a single social media move can say more than an interview ever could. And in this case, it said one thing loud and clear. Things were not okay. But as people debated the meaning of an unfollow, few were paying attention to something even more disturbing. Something that had quietly resurfaced from Justin's past. A relationship not with Hailey, but with someone far more controversial. Someone whose name in recent months had become synonymous with control, scandal, and fear. Because while Justin was unraveling in the present, his past was clawing its way back into the spotlight. And at the center of it all was Diddy. If you've been following the headlines, you know Diddy isn't just a music mogul anymore. He's become a name, drenched in controversy, accusations, and suspicion. But long before that, he was something else to Justin Bieber. A mentor, a friend, a looming shadow that fans now believe may have left deeper scars than anyone realized. It started as industry mentorship. Justin was young, wildly famous, and surrounded by adults who claimed to have his best interests at heart. But not all of them did, and according to some in the know, one of the most troubling figures in Justin's early life was none other than Sean "Diddy" Combs. American singer Jaguar Wright didn't mince words. In a resurfaced interview, she claimed that Justin wasn't just mentored, he was handled. According to her, Usher initially managed Justin before eventually handing him over to Diddy. For what? 48 hours. 2 full days that no one talks about. No official record, no press, just silence. And that silence has grown louder in recent months. What happened during those 48 hours? No one can say for sure, but a resurfaced video might hold clues. In it, a young Justin sits nervously in a studio as Diddy confronts him, almost playfully, but with an unmistakable edge. "You starting to act different, huh?" Diddy says. "You ain't been calling me, hanging out the way we used to." Justin, visibly tense, tries to explain. "You tried to get in contact with me through my projects and stuff, but you never got my number." There's a pause. Then, on camera, he hands over his personal phone number. It's subtle, but the moment is chilling. The power dynamic is clear. One man in total control. The other, a teenage global superstar, nervously appeasing him. Social media exploded when the clip resurfaced. "Creepy," one user tweeted. "Why does Justin look scared?" asked another. It wasn't just awkward, it was predatory. And that's when the bigger questions began to form. Was Justin a victim? Did he experience something during those 48 hours he's never been able to talk about? And is that part of why he's spiraling now? Sources close to Justin say he's never addressed the time he spent under Diddy's watch. Not in interviews, not even privately. He's reportedly refused to discuss it, even with those closest to him. But after Diddy's recent legal implosion, charges, arrests, and a flurry of accusations about misconduct and manipulation, Justin's past association suddenly matters a lot more. And it's not just fans raising eyebrows anymore. Even Justin's own team seems to be in full damage control mode, keeping him away from cameras, shielding him from questions, and most of all, distancing him from Diddy. But what if Diddy never let go? What if that grip never fully loosened? A single moment from 2021 might reveal just how tense and dangerous their final encounter really was. It was supposed to be a reunion, 2 old friends sharing a moment after years apart. But what actually happened that day in 2021 left fans with a sick feeling in their stomachs. The video shows Diddy stepping out of a black SUV. Justin is already there waiting. They exchange a hug, but it's not exactly warm. Within seconds, Diddy starts patting Justin down. His chest, his sides, his back. Not a handshake, not a friendly slap. A search. To most people, it looked weird. To those paying attention, it looked like something else entirely: suspicion. The moment went viral after Justin himself posted it on Instagram. But once Diddy's scandals came to light, the footage resurfaced, this time with a very different tone. Daily Mail reposted the clip under the headline, "Disturbing video of Diddy with Justin Bieber sparks new speculation." And it did exactly that. Suddenly, fans were asking questions no one had asked before. Was Diddy checking to see if Justin was wearing a wire? Did he think Justin was cooperating with authorities? And if so, why? One fan commented, "Watch Justin's face. He goes from smiling to uncomfortable fast. He shakes his head like, 'No, I'm not wearing anything.'" Another wrote, "This isn't brotherly. This is fear. This is power play." It's the kind of video that might have gone unnoticed, if not for everything else. The 48-hour mystery, the allegations, the eerie silence, and the fact that Diddy, a man now facing a mountain of legal trouble, seemed almost nervous around Justin. That's what really set people off. If Diddy had nothing to hide, why the body search? Why the paranoia? Why the need to assert dominance over someone who was once a kid in his care? And more importantly, what does Diddy know about Justin that the world doesn't? Sources close to Justin say he's seen the clip, he's aware of the speculation, but he hasn't said a word about it, not publicly, not in statements, nothing. And that silence, it's deafening. Because maybe Justin isn't just avoiding the topic out of discomfort. Maybe he's scared. Scared of what happened back then. Scared of what might still come out. Scared of who might be watching. And while fans want him to speak out, to tell his story, clear the air, get free, the truth is, he might not feel safe enough to do that. Not yet. But behind the silence, something's shifting. According to insiders, Justin has finally started talking, but not to the world, to his friends. And what he's revealing is darker than anyone imagined. For years, Justin Bieber kept quiet. He smiled for cameras, avoided confrontation, and tried to live like the past never happened. But according to sources close to him, the silence is cracking, and what's leaking out paints a picture of someone who's been living in quiet torment. Insiders say Justin has finally started opening up to close friends about his time under Diddy's influence and what it did to him mentally. One source told Us Weekly that he described it as a private hell. Another called it a nightmare he's only now starting to wake up from. And that silence wasn't just about fear. It was about shame, confusion, guilt. For years, Justin didn't know how to process what happened, let alone how to talk about it. And as Diddy's world unraveled in front of the entire industry, Justin reportedly spiraled with it. He felt disgusted, according to those in his circle, not just by the accusations against his former mentor, but by the memories they triggered, things he hadn't thought about in years, moments he tried to bury. And now, with Diddy facing real consequences, Justin's stuck between relief and trauma. Friends say he's mentally exhausted, isolated, like he's carrying a weight he can't put down, even when he's with his wife, his child, or surrounded by support. Some days, he disappears into himself. Other days, he lashes out, then retreats again, like a tide. His family is worried. Hailey is worried. Everyone's trying to reach him, but Justin seems caught in two worlds. The one he's built with Hailey, and the one that shaped him behind closed doors when no one was watching. And maybe that's the hardest part. He never asked for any of it. Fame, pressure, predators in suits. It was all handed to him before he was old enough to understand the price. And now, that price is showing up in every aspect of his life. Fans have taken notice too. There's been a quiet campaign on social media, urging Justin to speak out, not for revenge, but for healing. People want him to know he's not alone, that whatever happened, it wasn't his fault, that his story matters. But healing doesn't come on a schedule, especially when the wounds are this deep, and especially when the person hurting still doesn't feel safe in his own skin. So for now, Justin stays quiet in public. But behind the scenes, he's slowly cracking open, sharing pieces of the truth. And while that truth may be uncomfortable or even horrifying, it's also the first step toward finally being free. And for Hailey, she's watching all of this unfold, torn between protecting her husband and protecting herself. Because while Justin may be the one breaking down, she may be the one left picking up the pieces. So where does it all go from here? Justin Bieber, once the golden boy of pop, now looks more like a man trying to escape his own past. A marriage under pressure. A childhood marked by power players and secrets, and a silence that's lasted far too long. Hailey, for all her strength and composure, can only do so much. She stood by him through the meltdowns, the rumors, the growing shadows from his past. But at some point, love alone may not be enough. And if Justin can't open up, can't face what's inside, then even she may have to walk away. Their son, Jack Blues, represents hope, a new beginning. But children can't fix what adults won't confront. And right now, it looks like Justin is still battling demons that have nothing to do with Hailey, or even the present. They're rooted in the fame machine that chewed him up and spit him out before he could grow up. And then there's Diddy. His name lingers like a curse throughout this entire story. The unanswered questions, the eerie videos, the shadow that still looms over Justin's journey. Whether or not Justin was a victim, we may never know all the details. But the fear in his eyes, the trauma in his silence, and the way he's withdrawn from the world all point to a man deeply haunted. As more stories about Diddy continue to surface, many wonder, will Justin finally speak out? Will he break the silence, not just to expose the past, but to free himself from it? Or will he keep it buried, locked away, like so many others in the industry who've learned that survival sometimes means saying nothing? One thing's for sure, this story isn't over, not even close. And the people watching, they're not looking away anymore. Because when it comes to Justin and Hailey Bieber, the public facade may be cracking, but the real story is only just beginning.